and welcome to the CraveCast. I'm Eric Mack in Taos, New Mexico, joined by Kelsey Adams, Bonnie Burton, Jeff Sparkman, and Stephen Beecham at the CNET Studios in San Francisco, and Amanda Kuzer joining us just slightly south in Albuquerque, New Mexico, because we've got to cover all bases. The Silicon Valley used to be the home of the nerds, but here in New Mexico, like that, we've So, how's everyone doing?
Eric, you're going in and out. It sounds like you're either doing a Dalek impression in honor of us talking about Doctor Who, or your Wi-Fi is messing with you.
Your internet's failing.
If you're kidnapped by aliens during this thing, that'll be pretty awesome.
Just do a Dalek impression and it'll work out.
Let me kill some stuff here. How am I now? Can you guys hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we're fine. We're good. You killed the right thing.
For once.
Just like a Dalek.
Oh, he's totally frozen.
Oh, and now he's frozen. Oh, see, I thought Eric was just really. No one ever listens to me like that anymore. It was good. I was like my first boyfriend. Oh, sharing on CraveCast.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
All right, Skype.
We just thought you were a really good listener.
Or very, very shy.
Yeah.
Well, did I get to introduce everybody? Do we get everyone's names in at least?
Not yet. We can now if you want.
All right. Well, this is the CraveCast, and we're back. I am hopefully able to be heard now. I'm in Taos. I'm joined by Kelsey Adams, Bonnie Burton, Jeff Sparkman, and Stephen Beecham at the CNET studio there in San Francisco. And Amanda Kuzer is joining us just slightly south in Albuquerque. How are you guys doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Good. We can hear you, but we don't see you now. Your video disappeared.
You're ominous.
Okay.
We got lots of technical difficulties.
That's okay. This is nothing compared to the most like Google Plus and YouTube shows I'm on. It's like if we're lucky if someone doesn't get electrocuted by accident. So this is good.
Well, again, that could be interesting.
I know.
I'm not suggesting it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we can reenact that new Doctor Who trailer. That's fine. TARDIS blowing up, things electrocuting. It'd be great.
2 hearts.
Yeah.
Well, fortunately, I'm not going to be sending you the video, so we can talk through this. Let's work through our issues, technical and otherwise.
Sounds good.
We've all gathered here today, actually, to discuss television, which used to be one of the most boring things you could talk about in the summer, but not anymore. And actually, just like last summer, some of the networks and cable channels, including HBO, are testing out some new sci-fi shows with short summer runs. Last year, I actually got into Under the Dome in Siberia, and I wound up disappointed, mainly because Under the Dome was terrible, and Siberia was intriguing and interesting, but it didn't get a second season. Now, this summer, there's a few more new sci-fi series, probably the most high-profile being HBO's The Leftovers, which I think we might have a trailer for, and it stars Justin Theroux and some other folks. And the basic premise is it's a couple years after what seems to have been some sort of a rapture, but nobody's sure. Basically, like 1% of the population just disappeared in an instant, and the show takes place a couple years afterwards, and how people are dealing with it. And it's had some mixed reviews. I've watched all 3 episodes so far, and I just have no idea where the thing is going or if I'm going to stick with it. What do you guys think?
I've been watching. I actually kind of like it. I don't know. I'm just glad because it now we don't have to worry about population control. And the rapture. I mean, if you actually, I was raised Catholic, so I remember hearing about the rapture and that sort of thing, and that's definitely a Christian phenomenon to think about. And it's supposed to be a lot more dramatic, like angels coming down, raining fire, all that stuff. And this is just blink and it's gone. Like people just disappeared. So it's interesting, and it's interesting how people cope with it. And it's interesting how quickly people go into denial, like, oh, everything's fine, let's not think about it. But when you think about it, this is Damon Lindelof, so there's going to be something happening towards the end that either all of us are going to think is awesome, or we're all going to go to his house with pitchforks, because I still have lost wounds. So, I mean, Lost wasn't that long ago when we're all like, hey, wait a minute, that's the ending we all thought. So, I mean, with this, hopefully there's still some surprises left in him, but it is a compelling show. I'm giving it a chance, but I don't know about the rest of you, but I've become cynical and bitter as a TV watcher because I'm like, this isn't going to get renewed. This isn't going to get renewed. I'm going to waste all this time watching season 1 and 2 of something, and nothing's gonna get solved, and I'm just gonna wonder the rest of my life, how did Gravity end? You know, how did?
I'm like afraid to like anything.
Yeah.
You know, pudding pops. Still waiting for those to come back. Once I said I liked them, they disappeared, and you know.
Crystal Pepsi, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, not so much Zima, but you know, whatever.
There's a lot of TV shows that I invested in that people warned me not to. Like, I was at Park Avenue 666. I'm like, wait, what happened? That was the devil and things, and he was in charge of a hotel.
Last longer,
yeah.
know?
So I don't know. I'm trying to have faith because I don't want to invest too much in leftovers and then not have leftovers, I guess. Wah, wah.
But now here's the thing: has HBO done that? Have they just left something for dead so much?
I don't know.
I can't think of one.
I don't know, because that's the thing when you have networks like HBO, Showtime, and Stars. Stars is a great example. Where's my Hello Torchwood? That just sort of went nowhere after Stars took it over, right? So I don't know. I guess it just depends on the network, and same with like things like Netflix, Amazon, and Yahoo. They're starting to take no pun intended, well, sort of pun intended, leftovers.
Yeah, let's be honest here.
And we'll talk about that too a little bit. But I think these types of networks give shows more of a chance than, let's say, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox. You know, so maybe we have a chance to have closure, but I don't know. I don't want to get too hopeful.
They probably don't have to deal with like sponsors getting all angry about content.
Yeah,
like that,
that's true. I don't know.
So I have a question. Plot-wise.
Yeah.
Do you guys really find it convincing that the world would fall apart this much, losing only 2% of the population? Because we've had bigger losses than that in the past. Yeah.
We've lost more than 1% of the population out of nowhere.
Black Death?
I mean, recently.
Well, not recently.
Well, when I was a kid.
But do you think people have actually become that much more sensitive than they were in the Middle Ages? I mean,
I think now that the world's connected,
reasonable.
I think, you know, we're also interconnected, and we're also.
Yeah, but I imagine people going like, nobody's liking my picture.
I know. I just kept
But
thinking
2%,
if we lose one, I think it's 1%, not 2%, right?
I'm pretty sure it's okay.
If it's 1 or 2%, I don't know.
This sounds very mathy.
I also feel like, how many Twitter followers would I lose? Sorry, that's a very sad thing to admit, but that's all I care about. There goes my clout score. Yeah, I don't know if we would care, or if we would be in denial, or if the government would try it, because that would be really hard to cover up too. I feel like everybody would just put a positive spin on it, like, you know, hey, there's more room. Hey, there's more places to live. Hey, there's more parking spaces.
The argument is
the
basically
freeway's still crowded.
Yeah, the people are blown away by the randomness of it, right? Like,
Yeah.
if I can't count on anything, how do I even plan my life from now on? Is that the idea?
Right, yeah. And that's kind of the show too, as you see how people deal with it. It's not, I mean, obviously there's that overlooming question of where'd they go? But then there's the, okay, how do you deal with this? Like, you know, how do you deal with someone you love just gone, or your kids
And a lot of them are asking, why didn't we go?
Yeah, why didn't we
that's a
go?
big
Because
thing that they're
Rapture is
wondering.
like, you know, the
It's
ticket.
supposed to be all the good people,
It's
right?
the
Yeah.
Willy.
Right.
It's the Willy Wonka. It's like the Willy Wonka elevator to awesome.
But here's the thing. Okay, so we saw a baby disappearing. So shouldn't all the babies disappear, or are some babies better people than other babies?
Have you never seen Omen? There's a lot of evil babies out there. Seriously.
Maybe it's just blood type. Maybe they're just taking a certain blood type.
Hey.
Yeah,
Aliens.
and we still don't know what it is. So it could be aliens. It could be Rapture. It could just be.
This trailer
Anything.
totally terrifies my wife when we watch it after Game of Thrones or before Game of Thrones or something.
Where
She's
the
like,
baby
I don't
just
want to see this
disappears?
show. This show's horrible. Yeah, exactly.
Oh. Yeah.
But like for a split second, you're like,
have a-
oh, quiet.
Yeah, that's what I would think. I've been watching a lot of stuff on Netflix recently, and World War Z was on, and all I kept thinking was, that kid cares about her blanket and zombies are attacking, and she's whining about her blankie missing. That's a Rapture victim right there.
Well,
I'd
it's
be
a
glad.
comfortable blanket.
I don't know. I'm not a parent, so I sound horrible. So I'm just like,
I am a parent. I
can
have no
just the
excuse.
noisy drunk people be raptured? Because that would be
Wait.
great. Yeah.
on the
take
next
offense.
CraveCast, no one.
No one. I don't know. It is a very interesting concept, and I do like the idea of it because it's something that people are definitely talking about, and it's not your typical sci-fi horror type show. You know what I mean? It's definitely has
more
things
of a
left
character
over to
study.
talk about. Yeah. Anyway.
It's like they've been really, each episode has been delving deeply into these characters. Like the episode this week was just all about one character, and which either they're building to something great, kind of in the lines of a Breaking Bad. We have just really amazing just characters that you follow through crazy stuff, and it seems like maybe that's where it's going. But right now, it's just like really slow, and I'm having a hard time keeping up with it.
Isn't it what Lost did too? Didn't Lost focus on like a
Very.
couple of characters each episode instead of everybody, and then you got really super invested in those characters, and then when they started killing them off, you're like, oh, that's sad.
But like with way more crazy, weird stuff, where like there's a lot more mystery going on. Like this show doesn't really even seem to care about explaining, the context.
Yeah, I mean, if they replaced everyone that they took away with invisible smoke monsters and polar bears, I'd be totally down. So
that's kind of a given, really.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm giving it a chance, but again, you're right. If they need to speed it up a little bit more, and maybe we're just all a little bit ADD, but there needs to be a bit more excitement for me to keep going. So anyway, that's what I think of Leftovers. The end.
Amanda?
Did we get Amanda's take on it?
Okay, here's my take. I've got pretty much two things to say about it. One, kudos for casting former Doctor Who Christopher Eccleston. Always nice to see him. He plays the Reverend.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the first two episodes, I was watching it and I was thinking, this really feels like a Stephen King miniseries. Did anybody else kind of have that?
Yeah, it's funny you said that, because Entertainment Weekly had an interview with both Damon Lindelof and Stephen King, because Stephen King has his own TV show that's doing really well too. Is that Under the Dome? That's Under the Dome, right? And they discussed each other's shows and plot points and stuff. And I think Stephen King made a reference that he's a big Leftovers fan, and so you can kind of see that kind of influence for sure. I'm glad Eccleston's in that too, by the way, even though I don't know. I was kind of hoping that I would see him in more British programming, but I'm glad that Americans are sending him paychecks, so
I'm
that's
sure
good.
they'll take him back.
Yeah, they'll take him back. I don't know. After Heroes, I don't know if he's allowed back into the country, but we'll see. But yeah, no, it's good to see. I loved seeing. Is it Jason Theroux?
The guy from Romeo and Michelle.
Mr. Aniston. So I like seeing him and stuff. So hopefully they'll keep going.
I'm going to pick up the golden segue right here, since next up on our list is actually Doctor Who.
Yay.
So the season 8 trailer for the BBC series actually aired during the final of the World Cup on Sunday, giving the entire globe something to fill our football void, or at least some of us. For this, I think I'll just hand it back over to you guys, because you guys are more involved in the Doctor Who universe than...
That's actually not the trailer for the TV show. That's the trailer for their tour that they're doing. I wrote an article about this on CNET, but they're going, I think it was like 7 cities or something, and it's Capaldi and Coleman and Moffat. Moffat's only going to be at a couple of the cities, because I've been stalking Moffat for a while, so I know he's not going to be at all of them. But that's kind of cool, because they're doing kind of a world tour. There we go. There's the major trailer.
Life returns.
I don't think I know who the Doctor is anymore.
Life prevails.
I'm the Doctor. I've lived for over 2,000 years. I've made many mistakes. And it's about time that I did something about that.
Where are we going?
Into darkness.
Here we go again.
Clara, tell me, am I a good man?
I don't know.
Doctor Who. Saturday.
Yay. I'm getting chills. I get chills every time I watch that, because I'm like, yay, it's going to be a dark Doctor instead of a goofball. Like, I like Matt Smith, and I like the other Doctors, obviously Tennant and the others. Tom Baker was always my favorite, but I've been waiting for a super dark, going into, battling the inner demons kind of Doctor.
I found Tennant's Doctor very dark.
He was very dark, and he got dark towards the end for sure. And that's one of these things where I'm like, finally, because you can't live that long and not be bitter and angry at some point. And I'm glad that they were kind of bringing that out. And it's fun to see like the snippets of things. Like I like anything with T-Rex and dinosaurs, so I'm glad they're bringing that sort of thing back in. I know, me too.
Well, if not polar bears.
I know, me too. I don't know what it is. Like I was like, oh great, space battle, whatever. And I'm like, oh, horse chase, that's kind of cool. Oh, okay, dialects, blah blah. T-Rex. So I don't know. I'm excited for it. I'm sure Amanda and the rest of you guys will chime in because you're Doctor Who fans too. But there were 2 other teaser trailers that I covered for CNET as well. And one of them, you actually get to see the 2 beating hearts. And as usual in Doctor Who tradition, the TARDIS has to go through some major malfunctions and blow up and have things go wrong in the control panel. So it was great to see that again. And I'm just excited. That may or may not be Davros's voice. I mean, that's the big discussion.
It's Dalek style.
It's definitely sounds like him to me. And I'm just excited to see it. So I'm going to stop talking because I could talk about this all day. But I'm just, yay more Doctor Who.
So I really want to hear Amanda on this.
Yeah, Amanda, chime in.
Okay, well, first of all, I wore my Tom Baker TARDIS key.
Oh, I did too. I wore my TARDIS too. Yay!
Tom Baker is my doctor. I've been a fan since way back. I do enjoy the new series considerably. Eccleston was actually probably my favorite of the new Doctors so far. I enjoyed Tennant, loved Matt Smith, but I am super excited about Peter Capaldi. I took notes on that trailer, the long trailer, and it's 3 words: Dinos, Daleks, Darker.
Yep.
I gather that from the rumblings I've been hearing is they really want to take this in a different direction than what they've had before, especially with Matt Smith. And I'm curious to see how bold they're willing to go with that. If this season is about answering that question, am I a good man? I think it's going to be very compelling, and can't wait.
I'm just excited we're going to get a doctor that's not like on the cover of Teen Beat. I mean, not to say Peter Capaldi isn't adorkable in his own way, but I'm so tired of companions falling in love with the doctor and smoochy, flirty doctor and companion stuff. I think that's why
someone could fall in love with Capaldi.
I know. I mean, I'm just saying that could happen too. But I don't think Jenna Coleman. I don't think
Probably
Claire's
not her.
doing that
Probably
because
not her,
you could see in the new trailer she's kind of like her body language alone that pretty much proves it. But
she's got a very little girl thing.
yeah, it's just I'm just excited to have a doctor where it's not all the will they or won't they kissy crap. I just want to see will they or won't they go really super dark, and I'm very very excited to see Capaldi's version of the Doctor. Even though I know I'm going to be on the edge of my seat thinking he's going to swear at some point because all the other shows I've seen Capaldi in, you have to bleep him every 5 seconds.
That would be awesome.
That
The
would be
blooper
so
reel will be
great.
though.
I know. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I've been trying to catch up, trying to get into, and with my schedule the way it is, I get to watch more SpongeBob than anything else. And
Same thing.
Yeah. Well, actually, maybe the pineapple is oh my god.
Oh, I know. I just blew your
Yeah, my
mind.
head.
Bikini Bottom is now space. Yeah. I think they actually have a couple Doctor Who references in SpongeBob.
Oh, I'm
so,
sure they
yeah,
do.
they have everything in there.
After the first couple times I watch it, they
Though
just kinda
Patrick
blend
would be
together.
the worst companion, I'm just saying. Talk about blowing up the TARDIS every 5 seconds.
Yeah, he totally would.
Oh, my God.
All right, so I have a question. I think I've actually asked you guys this before, but I'm kind of a Doctor Who newbie. I remember watching something with my mom in the 1980s, but I'm a little more familiar with it now. But I don't know where to start. Where do I jump in to get caught up? 2005?
I think
maybe?
everyone has their own viewpoints on that. I'm if you're gonna start with a reboot, I say start at the very beginning with Eccleston's reboot, because it's not even a reboot. I mean, obviously it takes, it follows canon, but and Amanda might have a different suggestion, but I would say start there and then watch all the new stuff and then go back. And all the old stuff's on Hulu. Netflix has a bunch too, so you can watch a lot of the. I think Hulu Plus has the very first one, and you can go from there. And it's pretty slow when it's black and white 60s.
My aunt's been retrospecting it from the beginning. I've been hearing a lot about the effects and the slowness.
It's kind of slow, but then again, you'll get all these really great references because Moffat is a huge Doctor Who fan. Russell T Davies is too. Obviously, a lot of the writers put in these little Easter eggs from old episodes. But Amanda, what would you suggest people start?
I'm actually with you on that. I think new people coming to it, I think it's great to start with Eccleston for the new series. It's got the production values and the pacing that current viewers can really accept. And if you like that, then I suggest digging into some of the older ones. But I usually direct people to Tom Baker, partly because I love him and partly because I think that those also still resonate really well with the modern viewership for the most part.
Yeah, and it's also in color.
Yeah.
And you'll know what the scarf's about.
Yeah.
Next time you see
Yeah. And also, I think some of the better companions were Tom Baker's companions.
Leela.
'Cause then you get, Sarah Jane, and Sarah Jane has her own show, which I just started watching Sarah Jane Adventures because it's all on Hulu Plus. Because I never got into that, and I was like, I had a Doctor Who void, and I was just like, I'm gonna watch it now, and it's very, very entertaining. And even though it's meant for kids, there's great references of old school Doctor Who stuff, and it connects really well to the new series. So she's no longer with the actress that played Sarah Jane's no longer with us, but I love that series. So if you have a chance, check it out on Hulu.
All right, you've just planned my next sci-fi date night with my wife.
Yay!
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Moving away from sci-fi for just a little bit, we want to talk about Community, the NBC comedy that's laced with all kinds of awesome geeky and subculture humor, and it's been going for 5 seasons, and it's kind of been canceled and then resurrected, then it got canceled again, and then Yahoo picked it up, and the 6th season is going to be on Yahoo, which is interesting and kind of nerdy, and actually seems like a good home for it in certain ways. But we did have a little debate internally here on whether or not this is actually a CraveCast worthy show, and I'm curious what everyone thinks. I think this is one of my favorite sitcoms ever, and there's so many geeky in jokes and references, and I am totally psyched that this is going to continue online. It just seems perfect. What do you guys think?
Well, I don't see how that's even a question. I mean, if you just watch the trailer, there's a reference to every single thing you could possibly think of. Lord of the Rings, Terminator. I mean, it's all...
I think some of the episodes, not all the episodes. I mean, I've been watching Community since it started, and they have specialty episodes that have Doctor Who references because obviously he did his own Doctor Who spoof. And there's, but nowadays there's a Star Wars reference and everything. I just watched Law and Order Special Value Unit or whatever, and it's they had a Star Wars reference. So, I mean, there's always I'm not saying I don't like Community. I'm a big Community fan, but of all the shows, I mean, there's a crap load of sci-fi shows coming out, as well as horror and fantasy that we're not discussing today. And so I think I just pointed out that I love Community's coming back, but it's it's not Constantine, it's not Dominion, it's not The Quest, it's not Outlander. I mean, there's plenty of other stuff too, but I am glad that Yahoo picked it up. We'll see what happens. Is this the first show that Yahoo is doing? Because I didn't even know Yahoo had TV.
We have an article about that.
I guess I should read CNET. There you go.
Is it the first show?
No, it's not.
What's the first show then? Because I didn't even know Yahoo was doing TV until we reported it. So yay us. But,
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I'm sure nobody wants to bash Yahoo, so I'll do it. Yeah. Yahoo Mail. Yahoo Mail is what I used to use before Gmail. So
I love that show.
Yahoo IM is what I used to use before Gmail. So several years ago. Their site is. I mean, I thought, I knew they were trying, but I thought nothing could make Yahoo cool again. And they actually went and did it. They scooped up one of the coolest shows.
Yeah.
So, wow.
Okay. I'm all for it. I just, honestly, I had no idea Yahoo even had a TV component that actually could show TV shows. So I'm excited.
Well, they've been getting like the SNL archives and stuff like that.
Have they? Okay. All right. Go Yahoo.
Good building.
Good for them.
I'm biased for, the main characters. A narcissist named Jeff. There's a guy on the show who's obsessed with pop culture, so I'm kind of like destined to watch the show.
Right.
So I'm always leery when a show comes back, like for one more season, like when Scrubs did that.
Yeah.
It was like they actually kind of like tidied everything up, and you're like, okay, closure, and then another season on another network, and I don't know.
But remember, they're going for 6 seasons and a movie.
Well, yeah. So this could be totally different. I am cautiously optimistic.
I think it just depends. Like IT Crowd, Grand Lineum did one last episode, which is it's like one episode, one season. We complain about Sherlock only being 3 episodes a season. It's like the last IT Crowd season was 1 episode, but that was to wrap everything up. So, he got that chance to like tie up all loose ends, and it was like a nice ending to a show. So I'm all excited to see what Community is going to do on Yahoo. And like I said, I'm a big proponent of other networks that to do new stuff. Like Amazon's a great example. Netflix obviously proved that you can do this. And I'm a big fan of Hemlock Grove, so I'm glad that 2nd season just launched over the weekend for Hemlock Grove. So, more power to Yahoo. Hopefully Community can live strong there. And it has Dan Harmon back again, yeah?
Yeah, it's got the whole crew.
Yeah.
And I will say one thing that gives me some pause about this was Arrested Development. I was a huge Arrested Development fan of the original series. Came to Netflix for whatever the extra seasons were, and I didn't finish the Netflix ones. It like lost something. I think it actually lost something in that it lost its structure a little bit because some episodes were 30 minutes, some were like 50 minutes, and it felt like it actually lost some of the constraints that they were operating in.
Do you think do you think it's because the hiatus was too long?
Yeah, it was
between seasons, because then all the actors, some of them had more plastic surgery than others, so it was a bit. I mean, they used jokes about that. I think Portia Rossi had a few jokes about her plastic surgery and how her character looked drastically different than the last season we were used to with Arrested Development. But I mean, here's the big question: every time a show gets resurrected or saved, every Firefly fan
I was
out
just
there
gonna say.
is like, that Joss Whedon guy's he's not doing anything right now, right? So, and Nathan Fillion's got that little tiny show Castle that should be canceled any minute now. So why don't we just bring back Firefly? I mean, I love that Firefly, the Browncoats are just so adamant about, we could bring that back. We could just kickstart that. Like that's going to resurrect anything. I think
its early death is what made it so beloved.
Yeah.
It never had a chance to get bad.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it'll come back. Fingers crossed. Come on, Browncoats. Write your congressman.
Firefly is our Kennedy.
I know. It really is. How sad.
So we got a couple more minutes here, and so let's just wrap up real quick. There were two other shows we wanted to try to get in. Maybe we can throw The Strain in here too. So let's just go round table real quick. 60 seconds. Gotham, Constantine, or The Strain? Which one excites you the most and why? Bonnie, go.
Constantine, because I love the comic, and I'm one of the few people who love the movie, so I want to see what they do with the show. But I did watch The Strain, and I loved it, and it's a great book, and go Del Toro. So I say both.
Okay, Jeff?
Can I go for a fourth option?
Okay.
No, actually, I'm like intrigued by all of them, but I'm really curious to see the new Flash show. Just because.
Oh, yeah.
Because I watched the old Flash show and it was really awesome.
Cool.
That was it.
Okay.
I'm trying to keep it short here.
No, that's good. Oh, look, we even have a trailer.
Oh, look at that.
Look how on the ball everybody is. Or is that Arrow?
Oh, it's
is this Arrow?
Yeah,
No,
that's not
no,
Flash.
it's the Flash trailer.
Flash.
Yeah,
This is
no, it
Flash
is.
first
Or is it
look.
Arrow? Is it Flash? Is it Arrow? Is it Flash?
The Flash was
looks
introduced
the
on
same.
Arrow.
Oh, that's
and
right.
Kind of
That's
spun
right.
off of Arrow.
That's right. Who's playing Flash? Do we know?
Oh, yeah.
Is it Brendan Ruth?
No.
Because he's supposed to be on Arrow this next season.
He's going to be
We
the
looked
Atom.
this up. We IMDb'd this last time, right?
Yeah, I know. If only there was an internet service
We
that
need to
told us
box
these
up
things. Didn't we write an article? Maybe we should read CNET once in a while. It's probably
Kelsey,
on
what do you
there.
think?
All right.
Kelsey, what do you think of Gotham and Constantine?
Well, I have questions about Gotham because they seem to be doing a very dark, gritty kind of thing. But
Well,
then,
that's
This is
Constantine.
Constantine right here.
Yeah.
right. Well, I
I
mean,
don't think I have Gotham. Sorry.
I was
That's okay.
asked about Gotham. I'm just trying to answer the question.
No, that's all right.
But then the descriptions sound really camp. Like there's a character called Edward Nygma who's a forensic scientist who speaks in a cryptic language. I mean, can you imagine being introduced to the guy and then like one guy says to the other, so he's a code guy who speaks in code? Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Right? Like how can they possibly do this in a very serious noir way? And a scantily clad villainess named Fish Mooney with a right-hand man named Butch? Camp. So I'm puzzled. The one I'm actually interested in, though, is Constantine because I don't know, a lot of charisma in that guy. A lot of style.
And he's finally British.
Yeah. It helps.
If you watch the
Always helps.
if you watch the TV show, there we go. Oh yeah. This is a major network, so hopefully they won't cancel it. I have high hopes. It didn't cancel Grimm. It didn't cancel Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, that thing just keeps
So
going.
that keeps going. So I feel like maybe mainstream America is ready for more scary gothy horror stuff. So you never tell.
Amanda, where are you at on these the fall sci-fi debuts?
Yeah, for me, it's a toss-up between Constantine and Gotham. I think when Gotham cast Donald Logue, I was kind of signed up to get invested in that. But that Constantine trailer looks really cool. I'm cool with dark and gritty, and the more of that, the better. If they can actually pull that off on a regular broadcast over-the-air television, then I'll be pretty pleased. But for me, both of those really.
Yeah, I mean, the production value on that Constantine trailer, and it definitely seems like they're throwing the most oomph behind that one. The Gotham trailer is kind of like, okay, this is kind of like a little origin story, and I don't know if I'm totally that into it. The Strain, I keep hearing how awesome and gross it is.
It is. It's both of those things, and it's great. I actually really liked it. Here's the thing to keep in mind as a new TV viewer to a show that hasn't been tested out yet, that's a brand new show. Keep track of how expensive the effects look, because this is what killed off Heroes pretty quickly, too. I mean, writer's strike aside, it was how expensive is each episode, because that's what networks look at, too, because if the numbers aren't there ratings-wise, they're going to get rid of their expensive shows. So Sleepy Hollow has great effects. It's still around. Grimm has good effects, but it's mostly character-based, too. So I don't know. I'm fingers
crossed. Good advice. That's good advice for the CraveCast, too. We really need to keep our effects budget down.
Yeah, water that plant, Eric. Seriously.
This is my post-apocalyptic sci-fi
Oh, my
time.
God. It's like Little House of Horrors over there.
It's
like
a Triffid.
Feed me, Seymour. Feed me. I know. I'm feeling scared for that plant.
Last time I was in the Mist prison in South Carolina, so I had to bring something back. It's all about the set.
Yeah, and I do want to give a shout out for The Quest, by the way, because it's a sci-fi fantasy reality TV show, and they call it Amazing Race meets Lord of the Rings meets Game of Thrones. I'm scared of that. I'm gonna write something for CNET because they're auditioning people at San Diego Comic-Con this year, which is like the worst place to audition anyone for anything.
Oh, it's gonna be an actual.
It's an actual reality show.
Not like Siberia,
no, it's gonna be a LARPing. Well, they might dump a bunch of LARPers in Siberia. I'd watch that, but it's gonna be interesting. So I just wanted to, even though we're all about scripted stuff, I need to throw in that reality show because I can't wait to see Nerds in Peril, which is really what they should call it.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
I'd watch that.
Completely legitimate.
As long as it's not Naked and Afraid in the Woods or whatever it is.
I love that show. That show's great.
I haven't watched that yet. I just keep thinking splinters everywhere.
Yeah.
Thorns.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah, it's totally.
Game of Thorns.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. All right.
Puns are coming.
Oh my God! Wrap it up. Wrap it up.
On that punny note, that is the CraveCast for July. Thanks so much for joining us. If you got any suggestions for future shows, tweet us at Crave, and of course, keep track of everything on cnet.com/crave that we're working on. Say goodbye, guys, and we'll do it again
guys.
next month.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks.